Hello again, guys. Alex Kozora from SteelersDepot.com talking about upcoming week against Carolina. And I know Steelers are 1-1 right now off that ugly 26-6 loss against the Baltimore Ravens. And there's a lot of negativity and a lot of worry about this Steelers team right now. And, of course, it's justified coming off a bad loss. I'm going to try to focus on the positives of this team and not have that doom and gloom outlook yet. I'm not looking at this team as a whole through rose-colored glasses. You can listen to me on the past podcasts and talk about some of the issues of this team and some things that I don't really understand and some things that do concern me. Doing an article tomorrow based off the master chart that'll be up actually today. I'm filming it the night before. That's looking at some of the issues defensively, statistically speaking, and some empirical data. But I want to talk about some of the positives, because I think everyone's having a bit of a knee-jerk reaction and freaking out a little bit too much for a team that's not even in Week 3 yet. So we'll get to the positives. A lot of it does come on offense, of course, and Le'Veon Bell is having a fantastic season. He looks, I'm not good at knowing if guys have dropped weight and if they're faster or not, but he's the guy you can definitely tell has lost weight, and he says a whole lot quicker, moving laterally, hitting the hole, and getting to that third level. I thought a big issue with him last year was taking that 8-yard run and turning it into a 25-yard run, having that big play. He's getting big play after big play this season through the first 2 weeks. Guy is on pace for 88 catches, over 2,400 yards from scrimmage. Will he get those numbers? Probably not. He'll come back to earth a little bit, but he's going to have, statistically speaking, he could have one of the best seasons any Steelers running back has ever had. So a lot to be excited about. And, LeGarrette Blount only played 14 snaps through the first 2 weeks. That's not really a slight against Blount. That just is saying Le'Veon Bell is too good to take off the field for the Steelers right now. Too valuable of an asset, a complete back, and the Steelers are very, very lucky to have him. Antonio Brown, an obvious choice. Another guy's having a stellar season, and I love the way Todd Haley's using him. Yeah, he got a little too cute against Baltimore with that jet sweep on third down to the boundary. Didn't like that call, but now that both guys are comfortable, Haley comfortable with the offense, comfortable with Antonio Brown, knows what he has with him. Antonio Brown the same with Todd Haley, comfortable with him. They're getting creative with him now, trying to find ways to exploit matchups and get Antonio Brown free. Talk about putting him in the backfield, in the slot, in a lot of different ways. Some of these jet sweeps that have been successful, they're really trying to use him in a variety of different ways, get him in space, get him in some favorable matchups, and just lining him up out wide against #1 cornerbacks and him trying to win on his own, though of course he can do that. See what he did against Joe Hayden. Antonio Brown having, again, a fantastic season. The offensive line, Marcus Gilbert aside, the offensive line I thought has done a nice job. Kelvin Beachum, he struggled in the preseason. I had a couple concerns about him. I thought he's done a fine job the first 2 weeks. When Marquise Pouncey, David DeCastro off you with his own blocking scheme, getting to the second level, and just the general athleticism that they have are tough to find that position. And you're seeing the value of Marquise Pouncey. People got a little critical of him last year, saying, Cody Wallace could do it, Fernando Velasco could do it. They just don't have that athleticism Pouncey has, and they limit your playbook. Pouncey, you can do whatever you want with him. They've pulled him once or twice on a power row with the center pulling instead. So he's having a nice year. Again, we're going to go to the defense now, actually. I know I've talked about the zone blocking scheme a lot the last 2 videos. I'm not going to harp on it again. You've heard enough about it. But it should just be noted that, the Steelers aren't always going to be facing the zone blocking schemes. They're going to face some power schemes. I think before the year I looked at the schedule, I think 9 teams ran more power schemes and 7 of them ran zone blocking. So you're going to see some more power schemes coming up, and that's what the Steelers are better against in zone blocking. And truth be told, against Baltimore until the end of the game, that fourth quarter, the Steelers' run defense had actually done a nice job. It's tough to defend that zone blocking scheme for 4 quarters, and I thought Steelers overall did a nice job of that. And you looked at your warts from week 1, and I thought they did a nice job of improving on that and learning from it. And overall, until it got ugly, when it was a blowout anyway, and there was some run blitzes, and you're just trying to make a big play late in the game. They did a nice job. They didn't allow really any big plays up until late in the fourth quarter. So that's something that should be encouraging, at least. And bouncing off of that, we talked about this on the podcast the other day. It's not that the Steelers are getting worked over and it's a talent issue. It's a lot of fundamental issue, which is a concern in its own right, because the Steelers are always a fundamentally sound team. But you can get back to that. You can get back to your fundamentals. You can't overcome talent issues right now. You can overcome fundamentals by working on that and getting better at it, because you can rep it and you can get better. And the Steelers tackling will not be this bad throughout the entire season. So if you get better with that, you have many hands to the football. The first guy brings the runner down, tackle the catch. You're going to see more positive results. And finally, remember, it's week 2, haven't even hit week 3 yet. This team is 1-1. It was 0-4 last year. Think about how you felt at 0-4 last year after the Vikings lost in London. It felt like the season was over, and it pretty much was. But this is a team that almost made the playoffs. It was a Ryan Suckup missed field goal away from making the playoffs. So it's 1-1 right now. It's a light switch league. You can go from being awful one week to being great the next. Houston Texans last year started the season 2-0, lose the next 14. You never know what can happen. So you can't have that. The feeling you have now is not the feeling you're going to have in Week 14. What that feeling will be, I don't know. No one can know. But I don't think it'll be this bad. So I think, again, there's still plenty of optimism for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. So, again, the knee-jerk reaction we can't get too caught up in. That's all I have for this week. Check us out again. Check Dave. Check myself, Matthew. Podcast going up tomorrow, I believe. A lot of great articles to get you prepared against Carolina. And go Steelers.